Okay, so this is finishing up 4.3, the applications involving right triangles. So as promised, this is your Ed puzzle. Okay, so example number 7. Example number 7 is this. A surveyor is standing 50 feet from the base of a large tree. So let me draw a tree out, and my apologies here, but my artistic skills aren't really that great. So let's call that a tree. And a surveyor standing 50 feet from that tree. So here's your surveyor right here, 50 feet away. The surveyor measures the angle of elevation to the top of the tree as 71.5 degrees. So the angle of elevation to the top of the tree is 71.5 degrees. How tall is the tree? So this is our question. All right, so this angle right here, the one that they give me, is the angle of reference. So we want to use that as our reference and decide how are the other angles, or how do the other angles relate to this angle? How the other sides relate to this angle? Okay, so what do I have? I have this side right here. How does this side relate to this angle? This is your adjacent side. This is what I want. I want to know how tall that tree is. If I think of this as a big triangle, then which side is this, or how does this relate to this angle? Well, this is your opposite side. We're only concentrating with sine, cosine, and tangent. We don't need to worry about the reciprocal functions, okay, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So let's just think about sine, cosine, and tangent, and which one of those three functions deal with opposite and adjacent. Well, that's got to be tangent. Tangent of an angle is equal to the opposite side over the adjacent side. Okay, so now that I know which trig function I'm going to use, I will go ahead and substitute in the values that I know. So I know the angle measure, 71.5 degrees. I do not know the opposite side. Let's just give it an x. And I know the adjacent side, that's equal to 50. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and solve for x. And I can go ahead and type this in my calculator right now, but I want to do everything at the same time. So let me isolate the x first, and then I'll use my calculator. So isolating the x, we're going to multiply both sides by 50. So that's going to tell me that x is going to be equal to 50 times the tangent of 71.5 degrees. Okay, now let's go to the calculator. Before I can type in 71.5 degrees into my calculator and find the tangent of it, I need to change my calculator setting from radians to degrees. I need to reset it so that it will accept a degree measure. To do that, I'm going to hit the mode button. That's not the mode button. There's the mode button. And 2 lines down, it's automatically set for radians, but I want to change it over to degrees. So I hit the right arrow button, highlight the word degree, and hit enter. Okay, so now it is ready to accept a degree measure. I still need it. Okay, so let me quit out of that and go to my home screen. And let's type in 50 tangent 71.5. So this is going to tell me that x is going to be equal to, let's go 1 decimal place, 149.4 feet. So in other words, that tree is 149.4 feet tall. Let me show you what happens here if I change this into radians and I forget to change it into degrees. I end up getting a negative angle measure. Oh, not an angle measure, but I get a negative value. And remember, we're looking for the height of the tree. Height of a tree cannot be negative 47 feet tall. Okay, so there's one reason why we want to make sure that we put our calculator in degree mode when we are using degrees. Okay, so this is the answer for example number 7. Let's go to example number 8. All right, let me go ahead and read it to you. A person is standing 200 yards from a river. So let me just draw a river here. Okay, you got little waves in the water. and a person is standing 200 yards from the river, so 200 yards away. Rather than walk directly to the river, so we're not walking this direction, the person walks 400 yards along a straight path to the river's edge. So at an angle from straight on, that person is going to walk 400 yards in that direction to the river's edge. Find the acute angle between this path and the river's edge. Okay, so I want to find that angle measure. And we always assume that walking directly straight to an object like this river is going to be a right angle. Okay, so again, here's my reference angle. This is the angle that I'm dealing with. How does this side and this side relate to that angle? Well, this side is opposite, and this side has to be the hypotenuse. This is opposite the right angle. So opposite and hypotenuse, and which one of your three trig functions deal with opposite and hypotenuse? And remember, we're only talking about sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so that's going to be sine is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. This time I do not know the angle measure, so I'll leave the theta symbol in. The opposite side is 200 yards away. Well, the opposite side is 200 yards long, and the hypotenuse is 400 yards long. I'm going to go ahead and reduce that because 200 over 400 is equal to 1/2. And before I use my calculator on this, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this angle measure is going to be one of those common angle measures that you will find on a unit circle. We did the unit circle the other day, and in the first quadrant of those three ordered pairs, which one of those three ordered pairs had a sine value of 1/2? Remember, sine is equal to the y value of the ordered pair. Well, that's 30 degrees, okay, because the ordered pair for 30 degrees is the square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. But I am going to go ahead and type this in a calculator because I need to show you how to find the angle measure given the trig value. Okay, so I know I'm dealing with sine, but I want the angle measure. So instead of pressing just sine, I want to press second sine. Hitting second sine or second cosine or second tangent gets me the angle measure using whichever trig function that I'm supposed to use. I'm using sine, so I'm going to hit second sine. Then I'll type in 1/2, hit enter, and I get 30 degrees. So theta is equal to 30 degrees. And that's that angle measure right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to example number 9. Example number 9. A skateboard ramp requires a rise of 1 foot for every 3 feet of horizontal length. All right, let me go ahead and draw a little ramp here. And here's a little skateboarder up here with this skateboard. Okay, now let me repeat this really important piece of information. A skateboard ramp requires a rise of 1 foot for each 3 feet of horizontal length. This is your horizontal length. We need a rise of 1 foot for every 3. All right, that sounds a lot like a slope, doesn't it? Okay, rise over run is equal to 1 over 3. Now, one thing about this skateboard ramp is we know that the height of that skateboarder at the very top of the ramp is 4 feet off the ground. And a couple other things, it's not actually written in the problem, but it's showing you in the diagram itself. What we want to find is the lengths of B and C. B and C are right here and there. And we want to find the measure of angle theta, okay, with that information. All right, so we know the slope of this ramp should be 1 over 3. We know the height of the skateboarder at the very top of the ramp is 4 feet high, and that's going to be your B because it's right here, okay? Rise over run, and that's what we're comparing it to. So if we solve this by cross multiplication, we get 12 is equal to B, so B is equal to 12. Now, next thing I need is that and that. Let's go ahead and find that right now, the hypotenuse of this triangle. I can easily use the Pythagorean theorem. I can't use sine, cosine, and tangent yet to find this side because I don't know that angle. I could find that angle next. It doesn't really matter. But let's go ahead and find C. So let's use the Pythagorean theorem. Let that be A. That's going to be B. So 4 squared plus 12 squared is equal to C squared. That's going to be 16 plus 144 is equal to C squared. Add that together, I get 160 is equal to C squared. I'll square root both sides, and let's go ahead and give an exact answer. So instead of typing in the square root of 160 and getting a decimal, let's go ahead and simplify that radical. Okay, so I'm going to multiply these numbers together. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4. And what do I have left over? I have a 2 and a 5, so 2 times 5 is 10. So C is equal to 4 root 10. Okay, last thing. Let's find the angle measure. I'm going to steer away from that. I'll use these two right here. It looks like I'm dealing with opposite side, and it looks like I'm dealing with the adjacent side. So that's going to be tangent of opposite over adjacent. So again, I'm looking for an angle measure. This time I'm using tangent, so I'll hit second tangent. There you go, you can see it a little bit better. Second tangent, and I'll type in 4 over 12. And I get an angle measure of approximately 18.4 degrees. Okay, I can't get it any more exact than that. I could, but we don't need to. All right, so that is example 7, 8, and 9. That completes section 4.3. Hope you did well on your questions during this Ed puzzle. And as always, let me know if I can help.